Hello, hello. It's day number 2, January 24th. So what is this? This is a daily video series to keep myself accountable. Basically, I want to do stuff with my life, and this is kind of an interesting combination of a diary and usage of social media to bend my arm and make sure I actually do things, or else I look like a loser, I guess. Um, Basically, I want to talk about goals and struggles, stuff I'm working on and want to work on, and then on the way, I'll practice various skills. Communication skills, pretty big. I've said 10 million times already. I'll probably end up talking about random stuff, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. So, yesterday I talked about how I wanted to get a job and how it would be the biggest change uh, in my life, apart from, I don't know, winning the lottery. Although, I don't know, winning the lottery seems kind of overrated. But I mentioned a few reasons why. One is that my resume kind of sucks, and I mentioned I'd wanted wanted to replace my LinkedIn link on my resume with the GitHub link. They're two different things. So ideally, if they're both good, they're both on my resume. But I think my resume, on my, I think my LinkedIn is just bad. It's basically just my resume with like a really bad photo of me. So it's probably doing more harm than good. Um, And then I also talked a little bit about interviewing, and I was thinking about uh, when when they open the floor for questions, it's pretty hard for me to think of questions on the spot. One of the reasons is that um, I guess a lot of my questions are on like a need to know basis. So like if I want to know, then I don't know. Actually, how would I word this? I guess I'm not inherently curious about um, the position. Like I just want to work, to be honest with you. Um, so a lot of times I just don't really ask questions or don't ask that very interesting questions. Uh, so thinking about better questions and having a list of those would probably be good because like I just have a text document with good questions and then I pull it up when I'm doing an interview and um, that's pretty good effort. Like the effort I put into making those questions would basically be relevant to all of my future interviews, so long as the question is good. And one example was asking what the ideal candidate for this position is as your very first question, which then allows you to frame the rest of the interview and further questions around their answer. And then another thing I thought about is that since I'm a CS major and I know how to code, I can make my own productivity tools. I was thinking that I would really like to have a calendar app, super minimalistic looking, so it's not a huge pain to use. And I think I can realistically code one within a month. If I really tried, probably less than 2 weeks. But we're starting slow and steady because I don't know. Actually, I never thought about that. I think it's we go easy mode for a little bit and then we start to pick up the pace, and that just seems most intuitive to me. I'll have to uh, figure out better reasons why, or justify my reasoning, I suppose. But yeah, ideally the calendar app would uh, it would probably end up using a local database, which means it's not a process that's actively running. It's just uh, one program that it's basically just a window that I open up and it does something. And unless I wanted to make it so I could update it from my phone or anywhere else, then it would just be a window and I wouldn't have to deal with cloud databases. Or, yeah, I wouldn't have to deal with, like, I don't know, maybe I would use AWS to make a more of a live service product. But like I said, I want it to be super simple, so it's as easy to use as possible, which is good because that's also probably the easiest thing to code. And then maybe include some gamification as long as it doesn't make the application feel too cluttered. So a super fast and spontaneous 1 month plan is to get GitHub working. Probably upload some easy LeetCode problem. Ideally, or not ideally, but ideally, I'd like to use GitHub from the VS Code command line. That's just the most comfy for me. Also makes me feel cool. So there's that. And then next week, I'd like to upload a follow-along project. There's actually a ton of follow-along projects, and I think they're super useful for actually getting to know the like any given tech stack. Because I'm sure there's a bunch of free ones, but there's even more non-free ones. And in my opinion, they're probably the best thing to learn about any given tech stack. Like React, I think you'll probably be confused unless you do. I mean, not even just React. You'll probably just be confused if you're trying to learn a new library of anything really. I don't know. That was worded pretty poorly. Basically, follow-along projects are good for learning. And I'd like to upload one to GitHub by week 2, or on week 2, during week 2. Um, and then week 3 and 4, I would be working on the calendar app. And I'm giving that so much time because who knows, maybe I'll run into a weird roadblock, but we'll see. We'll work it out when we get there. And then as far as goals, there's still get comfortable using GitHub and getting a Security Plus certification by the end of the month. Right now, yesterday I messed around with GitHub. There was a super beginner course, and it's theoretically I know all I need to know if I'm okay with manually copy pasting everything into a GitHub repository. But doing it from a VS Code command line is just so much cooler. Like I actually feel like I'm a cool individual when I do that. So we're gonna work towards that. Um, and then the Security Plus certification. Looked at some more PBQs. I bought the voucher. Hopefully, doesn't the code or whatever doesn't get sniped by the time I do it. I'll probably just do it on the 30th. I'll see if I need to schedule anything, or if it's just a code and I can instantly get in. Um, but yeah, right now I'm looking at some vocabulary, seeing if there's any big spots that I'm missing. But otherwise, I'll probably just want to focus on um, PBQs, uh, the actual non-multiple choice questions, because I think they're worth a lot and they're also just more interesting. That's about it for what I want to do today. How was yesterday? I mentioned most of these, but I uploaded my first YouTube video. I booked my exam. Well, I got the voucher. I don't know if it's a scheduled thing. And did some flashcards, and then I did some super basic GitHub labs. Actually, I only did one, but whatever, close enough. So overall, I would say it was good. And yeah, do not like it and subscribe. I'm very embarrassed. Thank you.